Okay, obviously over the last couple of days, a lot's come out about the ball tampering in the South Africa Australia third test in their test series. Steve Smith as captain has been stood down as captain for the next test, which will be the fourth test. He's had to pay 100% fine of his match fee. Bancroft, the fielder who was tampering the balls, had to pay 75% fine of his match fee, and David Warner has also been stood down as vice captain. The press conference was embarrassing and cringeworthy. It's very notable that when they realise when Lehman realises that they're doing what they're doing, he wants to hide the evidence, so he knows. Sends 12th man out, give instructions to Bancroft to hide the suspicious tape or sandpaper or whatever he was using to tamper the ball with. This is a premeditated act. Now, when Atherton had the dirt in the pocket, that was a heat of the moment. I have to win, and he was rightly hounded for that. Rightly. This has got to be premeditated. For the coach to send out 12th man to the fielder to say, hide the evidence of tampering with the ball at this stage, do it later, whatever the message was, and then the umpires to come up to all the players going empty your pockets. The umpires have clearly seen something, or something was brought to their attention. The statement after the game where they freely admitted, yeah, we tampered the ball. We were cheating. Quite openly, they were like, yeah. For an ex-international, Shane Warne, probably the greatest spin bowler the world has ever seen, who now covers the cricket for the British Sky broadcaster, which will be Fox in Australia, Murdoch's lot. And his words are telling. Sky Sports News, which is our sports news channel over here for sport, as took a snippet from the post-match comments, and he was like, obviously this has come from the senior group of players, which would be the captain, vice-captain, and a few other of the core of the team, the leaders. The coach would have had to have known, and I wouldn't. It probably goes far deeper than just Bancroft, Warner, Smith, and the coach Lehman. This is a premeditated act, and he makes reference to the dirt in the pocket with Atherton. A lot of these questions came up in my live stream last night, and another question posed in my live stream last night was, does the next test match, the fourth test in the series, get abandoned, called off? The fact that they played the rest of the third test, in my mind, says otherwise. I think that the fourth test will go ahead. At this time, we've heard nothing different. We have to wait and hear from the organisers of the Test series and World Cricket, the governing body of World Cricket, and the series organisers, to whether the rest of the series or the tour goes ahead, because you've got one-day internationals and T20s as well attached to a Test series these days. So that's a lot of matches to rearrange. If you have to send the Australians home in disgrace, you have to find another Test or one-day team to fill those slots, and in the Southern Hemisphere it's end of summer, early autumn, and it's very hard to find a Test side to play at short notice. So that will be very, very interesting. I would assume it would go ahead, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did decide to at some point call off the tour. But that's up for the organisers. At the moment, from what I'm feeling and what we've seen in the media, there's been no indication that the rest of the Test series will be called off. But I don't think Steve Smith and David Warner play cricket for Australia again. Steve Smith is a brilliant batsman. He's a brilliant upper middle order batsman. He did exceptionally well in the Ashes. He proved his worth in the Ashes. David Warner, however, he's a very controversial character at the best of times. He's not the most popular character in cricketing circles. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Australian selectors are now wishing they hadn't selected some of these players. This isn't a strong Australian side at the best of times. I mean, they did beat England, and England were terrible in the Ashes, and the Aussies did a number on the England team in the Ashes. That was two very poor sides playing a very interesting Test series, and you just got to look at England and New Zealand right now and how they're getting battered in the first Test. That first innings capitulation of 58 just sums up English cricket at the moment, and what the Australians have got done sums up Australian cricket at the moment. Um, it is interesting. Steve Smith is suspended for the next test, so we know in that case, if he has been suspended for the next test match in the series is carrying on. That's what I would go by. Um, but I find it interesting that Rabada, the South African fast bowler, gets banned for 2 matches for a little shoulder barge like that when he bowls David Warner, because David Warner is a gobby shite and Rabada is a very fiery character himself, and gets a 2 game ban for 2 tests. Smith gets 1. Rabada wasn't cheating; he just was over exuberant and maybe not in the spirit of the game, maybe, but he didn't cheat anyone. He didn't match fix. He didn't do anything like that, which is basically what ball tampering is. It's cheating. Match fixing is a different thing, and there's a different precedent for a test series being called off. Pakistan throwing deliberately bowling no balls and spot fixing that caused the England-Pakistan test series to be cancelled. But I find Rabada's suspension for 2 games weird when Steve Smith, who's deliberately been part of a match ball tampering on cheating, deliberately to cheat the opposition and the game, 1 game. I find that odd. That was another question that came up in the live stream last night. 8 o'clock my time, so all over the world, you'll be like 7 in the morning in Australia, or it might be 11, whatever time in the morning, or lunchtime in North America. But these questions came up in my live stream, and I just find the disciplinary committee of World Cricket very interesting. That Rabada gets 2 games for his incident, which is not cheating. I reiterate that. I think it was okay, not in the spirit, not in the keeping of the sports spirit, but he didn't cheat. Steve Smith gets 1. David Warner has also been stood down as vice-captain for Australia. There is no indication that he has been dropped. So all told, it's a sorry fit, but that's what's happening now. We will know more as the week progresses and the days go by and more comes out. I'll be very interested to know who actually hatched the plan to ball tamper so blatantly. And the South African crowd really let the Aussies know it. They were very, very. Every time they hit the ball, there was booing. Every time they ran, there was booing. When batsmen got bowled out, they booed them off. They booed them onto the pitch. They booed them off the pitch. So the atmosphere is going to be very, very tasty in the next test. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.